art art storefronts. I've been doing that for like 7 years now, I think, or 6 years. It varies depending on how I'm feeling. Um, so I've been working on sort of solving the digital marketing problem. How do you digital market and grow in art or photography business? Been working on that pretty hard for a good number of years here. Um, in addition to that, I have 3 of these things a week, and I've been doing 3 of these things a week, missing a couple here or there for the better part of a year. In addition to that, we have internal sessions, sort of just like these, with our customers, and you put that all together, and I don't think it's hyperbole saying I talk to more artists and photographers on a week in, week out basis than just about anyone alive. I've gotten every type of question over that course of that time that you could imagine, everything from just getting started to picking up steam to offline revenue sources toasted to I can't pick a niche to what are the best selling sizes, how do I deal with shipping, what about international, what about markups, how do you run a sale. I bring all that up to say I really think I can help you. I think I can help you no matter where you are in your business. Whatever questions that you might have, regardless if you ever decide to do business with art storefronts. And I want that to be sort of the underlying theme of the entire thing. And, independent of sort of the talking to a bunch of artists and photographers to, being a hardcore digital marketer for a lot of years. We've got 5,800 customers now, or 5,500, or whatever the number is. You can tell I'm terrible with numbers, but some number over 5,000, and we really really study their data. And what do I mean by that? I got to qualify that. We divide the entire database, the customer database, because we know what their sales are. We carve out all the ones that are at the top of the sales charts, and we look and see how they're doing what they're doing. How are they capturing leads? Who's capturing the most leads? Why are they capturing the most leads? We audit everything that they have to do with the emails that they send. We audit how many times they have a sales. We audit what their Facebook and Instagram posting strategies look like. Who's the best at selling commissions? Who's the best at selling originals? Who's moving the most prints? Who's selling the most metal? And you put all that together, and I think I have a very good bead on what is actually moving art or photography in today's market. Like what is actually generating sales, what's actually making a difference. And so, after I rant for a little bit, I will we'll get into the Q&A. So I want you guys to come with whatever questions that you have, that you think you're struggling with, that you want more information about. Yes, of course, you can ask questions, about anything that we do, or pricing, or shipping, or anything else. Normally, at the top of these things, I run like a pre-recorded video that I recorded in one of these sessions like 3 weeks ago or a month ago or so. It sort of gives you everything that we do at a high level. I think I'll skip that today just to mix things up a little bit. I have sort of like a rant of sorts that I prepared. Okay. And we can go into that. And, as the thing sort of rolls along, there's a chat down at the bottom. And myself, members of my team are monitoring the chat, so you could leave comments, questions in here. We'll answer them. We'll get to them as the thing rolls along. In addition to that, if you're watching on the socials, because we're streaming on Facebook, we're streaming on Twitter, we're streaming on YouTube, in a couple of places. You have any questions there? You can certainly type those out. We'll get to those in due course. But I want to start. I want to start out talking about I sort of rant about how, and I'm going to move myself over here so I can do some screen share action, about how I talk to so many of you guys, right? And what's interesting is the vast majority, by which I mean almost everybody, brings up the questions that they have that they think is the biggest problem, that they think that they're struggling with more than anything else, that they think is going to instantaneously grow their art business. For instance, that you have a website problem. That's why you're here today, right? Like, we offer websites, and you think you have a website problem, and that's your biggest problem. Or perhaps you think, if I could just find that mythical list of high net worth collectors and individuals, I would make it, right? Or if there's just some sort of marketplace. And I've sort of arrived at this concept of what I call the art selling pyramid. Okay, and I sort of jacked this thing from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I don't know if you've ever heard of that thing or not. It's relevant, doesn't matter. But Maslow's idea is that there is a pyramid, and in order of priority, you have to sort the blocks on the bottom, and then you can start sorting the blocks on the top. Okay. And so, obviously physiologicals at the bottom, right? You have to eat, you have to sleep, you have to do that before you can do anything else. Then you can worry about safety. You can go and find the cave and live in it, right? And you've got a roof over your head. And then you can worry about love and belonging, and then esteem and self-actualization, becoming a great human being or whatever. So I give you the art selling pyramid, okay? My interpretation of sort of Maslow's, and and I do believe that this is quite literally the path to a successful art business in 2021 and beyond. And no different than Maslow's, we have to sort the bottom blocks and then we move up to the top blocks, okay? And the first block is attention, okay? And this is the single solitary biggest problem that every single solitary one of you have on this chat. I don't even need to know your individual stories. I know this is your biggest problem. What is attention? It is the currency of the land that we live in today. If you don't have eyeballs on your art, on your photography, you're not going to be selling any of it, right? It's that simple. Every single solitary day, like in Maslow's, pyramid, you have food and shelter. Well, I mean, food and sleep. Well, guess what? Just like we have to eat and sleep every single solitary day, every day we have to go out and get attention, okay? And attention comes in a couple of different formats. There is rented and owned. Owned attention is things that cannot be taken away from us. We own them. We own the rules. Namely, it's snail mail addresses, email addresses, and phone numbers. That's really it in today's day and age. That's the attention that we own. And then the rented attention, our Instagram followers, our Facebook followers, our YouTube fans, right? There's some other iterations of it, but it's a single solitary biggest problem every single solitary person has. And when I say every single solitary person, every single solitary customer we have, even the ones that are approaching $1 million a year, not a lot of people, by the way, not a lot of people, very small number, but even the ones that are in the six figures, they have an attention problem. Us, Art Storefronts as a business, we have an attention problem. We live in an age, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he's like a social scientist, genius, a smart guy, and he came up with this in the late 70s, early 80s. And he said, when we move from an era of information scarcity to information abundance, then attention is the commodity of the land. And that's quite literally it. And I'm always embarrassed to say this, but I always say this on these calls. Some of the most powerful women in the entire world right now? Patty's like, is it me? No, Patty, it's not you. The Kardashians, okay? The Kardashians. Why? Because they have more attention than anyone else. Those women could decide to start painting tomorrow, and they would probably be able to sell $30 million worth of art in their first year, even if it was, stick figures on a canvas. And the larger part is, with the attention, you can do absolutely everything. Like, there's people on here that think the problem that they have is that their artwork is not scanned yet, so they can't sell prints. Or you think your problem is that, you have a website problem. If you just had your art up on a website, that would be it, right? Or maybe you're just doing originals, and your problem is if you were just doing commissions and you were just doing prints. Or maybe you have all of the above, and if you were just selling merchandise, then that would fix your problem. And some of those might be legitimate problems, and some of them might not. What I'm here to tell you, you can't even have any of those problems until you fix the attention problem, right? If I was the genie in the lamp right now and I just came out, and Janine's like, Jeannie, I want you to move my website from here to there. I don't care what platform it is, ours, anyone else's. Nothing would fundamentally change in your business because you haven't solved the attention problem. All you did was take a website, wherever it was, that's not selling anything, and no one was going to it, and you moved it to the Ferrari website platforms, and now still no one's going to it, right? The Ferrari's sitting in your garage because there's no gas in the tank. It's attention. We all have to focus on it, just like Maslow's need every single solitary day. It's a fancy way of saying we all have a big marketing problem. That's just the world that we live in. Okay, number two. And number two block, you notice how there's an outer shell on this one? The outer shell is incredibly important to me. If you want to make it in this next decade, if you want to make it long-term as an artist or a photographer, by which I mean not have a side job, okay, art or photography is your full business, I believe that these are the two fundamental things that you need to solve, full stop, period, okay? One is the business model. You need to be selling direct. You need to be selling directly to your customer, okay, the end purchaser, for one very important reason. You have to retain the data on your customers, okay? If you do not retain the data on your customers, if you do not know who your customers are, if you're selling in galleries or if you're selling on online galleries, then you can't market to those folks in the future, okay? And if you can't market to those folks in the future and you can't continue to get sales from that list, you can never build a collector list. Now, I stole this concept from this book early on, and it's Don't Be a Starving Artist. It's by Weiland, the whale guy, okay? I actually want you to buy it. Annoying, it's not on Amazon. He's doing like a charity thing, but I'm telling you, this is like, we'll be able to see it's all backwards. It's short, it's sweet. The chapters are like really succinct. And this guy's the #1 selling artist in the entire United States right now. And I think probably quite a few other, maybe even the world. I don't know. He's huge. He's huge. And this is just a really, really, really good book. But in it, he talks about how important his collectors are. And he sort of defines a collector loosely as people that will purchase in upwards of 7+ pieces of art from an artist or a photographer over the course of their lifetime. You're constantly marketing to them, you're constantly taking care of these folks, you're building a collector list. And I cannot underscore how important that this is for your long-term career if you're not building this list, if you are not taking care of these folks, if you are not regularly communicating to these folks, if you're not occasionally making them feel like VIPs, if you're not occasionally giving them a smile emoji on their Instagram post, okay? These are the people that are going to support you in perpetuity. And if you are not working on cultivating this list and making it as a successful artist or photographer is a fight, then one arm is tied behind your back, and that is no way to fight, right? So that's sort of the outer shell of block number 2. The next, we get into the 3 ways to sell art. And there are 3 ways to sell art. I believe every single solitary one of you needs to be deploying all 3. I believe the successful artist or photographer understands this and deploys all 3 in their life, in their business across the board. So what is the single solitary best out of all 3? Trick question here, right? It is selling direct in front of a person, okay? Face to face. It always has been. It always will be. That'll never change. So anytime you have the opportunity to do that, you need to leverage that. Yes, I realize we're still in a kooky pandemic world, but it's getting better. We're going to get out of that. So that's way number 1. Number 2 arose out of the issue that you are geographically fixed on this world, that you need to sleep, and that if you're not my wife, you can't have 15 conversations at once. So you have to have a website, okay? On the website goes your work, right? People can come at any point in time. It works for you when you sleep, and you can have 75 people on at once, all shopping, right? So you absolutely have to have a website. It has to be enabled to sell art, to do commerce. That being said, here's the thing that just baffles people's minds when I say this. The website is the worst way to sell art. It is the worst of the 3, okay? So let's talk about, that's number 1, number 2. Number 3, the newest entrant into the market is exactly what we're doing here. It doesn't matter if it's via video 1-to-1 or via video 1-to-many, like we're doing here. But this is the newest entrant, and it's like, yes, I get it. Patrick, video selling has been around for a long, long time. How is this anything new? In that capacity, it's not. But the world has changed over the last 12 to 24 months. And there's a couple of things that to like buoy this that I cite, right? And one, I forgot to mention this too. So I'm going to be hopping around links and everything else. We'll put some of them in the chat. Some of them won't. Don't worry. I'm going to email you all of these things after the fact so you have them. Okay. So you don't feel like you need to hold on to them. But Art Basel gets together with UBS and they do this report every year. There's 2 of them. There's one by these guys and there's one by another group called the Hiscox Company. Doesn't matter. Point is, the Art Market Report 2021, right? It's a great report. I really think all you guys should read it. I'm super pro on this. I mean, yes, they are surveying by and large, like, if we're talking about athletes, the pros, right? Not the amateurs. And that's like where they get their data, but it still siphons down to where all the rest of us are in the scale. And it's really, really fascinating. So you can see the table of contents, the global art market in 2020, dealer sales, auction sales, art fairs, online sales, global wealth collector perspectives, economic impact and conclusions. So I'll send you this. They also have like, do I have it? Yeah, I think this is it. On the link that I'll send you, they have, if you don't want to read the whole report because you just can't be bothered, they have a key findings section, which is pretty jazzy. They got like, cool little graphics on this thing. And, the art market grew by such and such. Anyway, you guys don't have a lot of reports in your industry. This is a good one. I want you to check it out after the fact. But, whether I read that report or whether I see what's going on with my customers or whether I'm a huge nerd and follow digital marketing very quickly, this second way or this new way to sell art, which is number 3, but it's really the next best way, is via video. Okay. It is via video. And it doesn't matter if it's 1-to-1, i.e. I email Patty, I love your work. Patty emails back, Patrick, I would love to set up a one-on-one Zoom call. I can show you some of my pieces. We can talk about them. We can discuss whether it's 1-to-1 or 1-to-many. Okay. What does 1-to-many look like? Yes, you could technically say what we're doing right now is 1-to-many, but one of the concepts that's sort of emerged and it's in this report, by the way, as much as it is with our customers, is the concept of the live art show. Okay. So here you have an artist in his garage studio holding up pieces, talking about it, and going live on the socials. Now, in this particular instance, and this is old work from him. This guy's actually crazy, which is not to knock this stuff that he's got going on here, this interesting bird situation. But in this particular instance, without giving away too much of the trade craft, after he comes back, um, from Laval, Canada, in his garage. Okay. He has, you can see the ear pods are in. So the ear pods are connected to his phone. His phone is live on Instagram. We are using some software for him to go live on YouTube, to go live on Facebook, a couple of different Facebook pages. Anyway, it's having a live art show. He called this one a basement sale. He sold 62 pieces of art for a little bit over $30,000 Canadian in a 15-day period doing this. Yes, there's some circumstances to that. Andy did it without wearing sleeves. I don't have any idea what this getup is, but I like making fun of him for it. Here's another one. Okay, just ran another one just recently. Okay, and this is another customer. Her name's Meg Knappenberger. She's an artist in Kansas City. Here she is. She's in her basement selling her art. Okay, and going through having a light art show, showing it off. In her case, same thing, live on Instagram, live on Facebook. She doesn't have a ton of followers on either one. She sold, in this particular instance, 70 plus pieces for a little bit over, I think, $14,000 or $15,000 US. And in her case, she was moving studios, so she had a bunch of extra stuff lying around. Okay. If I go back to these guys, there's multiple instances in this report. Okay. And you know, these guys are so snooty, they call it OVR, meaning online viewing room, which the rest of us call a Zoom call. You snotty punks, you. Okay. They're talking about how all of their collectors, all of the sales that they were seeing, a whole bunch of them went down via OVR, online viewing rooms, right? If you look at the show or the fair circuit, okay, how many of those that had the booth fees locked in, you know, decided that don't cancel. We're going to do a huge live virtual art show, and you guys can all participate. So many of those things failed miserably because there's a ton of tradecraft, a ton of, you know, technical difficulties one needs to sort to get good at this, which is not to say you guys can't start today. You can't start literally the second this call is over. Patty, you're having a live art show in 2 hours. Get ready. Okay. All you need is a cell phone. Yep. All you need is a cell phone and a couple of pieces, and we can do this. But you know, it is the future, and everything that we attempt to do as we have this mental framework, like what are the best ways to sell art or photography, everything goes back to a retail context. Okay, we need to put our minds in a retail context. Like if you had an art gallery, okay, what would be the best way to sell art? Have those doors open, have somebody come in, talk to you, get to know you, you sell direct, you get their contact information, whatever. Okay. Well, you can't be in there all day long, and not everyone lives in your town. All right. So let's turn the camera on and have that on inside the store. Okay. And everyone can see what's going on in there, what it looks like. I actually have a video of it. This is actually really cool. I'll really highlight my point. I sort of forgot about this. So this same guy, Matthew, a customer, he somehow in the middle of COVID managed to pull a show off, right? And the gallery went down. He had the actual show the next day or whenever it was over. He's like, okay, I'm going to turn the cameras on. I'm going to walk everyone through the gallery, and we're going to look at all the various different pieces. By the way, you see, this guy's talented. I'm telling you, it's a little bit better than the bird photo. Don't tell him I said this, but it's better. So same thing, right? Okay. Best way to do it, have that gallery show face to face, one to one. Next best way, turn the camera on and bring the world into your retail gallery. Okay. The third way, the website, that would be like you open your gallery and everyone just walks in on their own and there's no one there to help them, right? It's better than nothing, but it's why the website is the worst way. So back to my pyramid. You get these two right. These are the two most important ones to get right on the whole entire pyramid, but there is one more step. Everything else, okay? Everything else, the last block, by which I mean you got a retail art gallery that's going, fantastic. Is it bringing revenue? Fantastic. Keep it going. But in addition to getting your own attention, in addition to doing the 3 ways of selling art, as well as selling direct and building your collector list, what about an online gallery? You've got Etsy going, or you got Redbubble, or you got Fine Art America, or eBay, or whatever else it is. Fantastic. In addition, to building attention every day, in addition to the 3 ways of selling art, right? You're doing the shows and fairs. Fantastic. In addition to these two, right? Or any other revenue source that you have, any other way that you have of selling, this is the pyramid. This is it right here. And, what a terrifying year to go through for me. And, I'll say this selfishly, like, do you know how many people I've talked to that had robust, healthy income streams that all of a sudden snap, poof, pandemic hit, gone. Fairs and shows couldn't go anymore. The gallery they were in closed. Not only closed, all their art is embargoed in there. They can't even get it out, right? And week in, week out, I'm talking to people that are in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, their 60s. They're at the top of their game. They have had a storied career. They had 6-figure incomes in many cases. And all of a sudden, because, let's go back here, they were not capturing and retaining their own attention, and they didn't understand the 3 ways to sell art, they are left with either wait and see or start marketing, right? And that's a terrifying place to be in. If you're at the top of your career in your 40s and your 50s, and all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, guess what? You're coming to work at the agency, but first you're going to be making copies and getting people donuts, right? That's what it feels like. Like, you have to start over, I'm sorry, and go eat crap and be in the trenches like a college intern, right? And that's a tough road to hoe, I know. And it's terrifying, but at the same time, it is the reality of the world that we live in. This next little period of time, transitionary, hopefully the masks go away, we get out of this dumpster fire, people are going to be scared for a little while, right? So a lot of these offline revenue sources are not going to be coming back at a full clip. And so it's like, what do you do? What do you do as an artist and photographer? You're going to wait it out, go get a job, learn to code, right? Like, it's terrifying. So I always go back to this pyramid. This pyramid is actually the most important thing you could possibly understand from now till whenever. Okay. If you are building attention, okay, constantly building attention, getting better at it. Yes, we can talk about all the different ways that you do that. If you understand the business model and the collector list, okay. And by the way, I want to punctuate this one. So Meg here, okay, on this sale, she had 80 pieces in the sale, okay. The show gets announced on Monday. You can even see she's having fun in her show, having a whiskey there. Her show starts on a Monday. She announces it. Okay. The show is going to be on a Wednesday. Monday afternoon, her collector list gets an email. Okay. And out of her collector list, 37 pieces sold out of the 70. So, or the 75 or whatever. So 46% of the show was over before it even started. It was done. It had already sold to her collector list. And this is not a woman that has tens of millions of Instagram followers. I mean, 6,200 is a good number. She doesn't have like 5,000 emails on her list. I don't think. Maybe she's getting close to that now. I don't know. But the larger point is, you can do a tremendous amount of damage if you understand the pyramid. Okay, if you understand the pyramid and you understand the world is shifting to this new modality with this new way of selling art, which is way number 3. Where did my pyramid go? Way number 3, which is selling via live video, one-to-one, one-to-many. So ultimately, people ask us what we do. Like, are you a website company? Yeah, okay, fine. But we do so much more than that, right? We teach you how to get attention all year long. We teach you the 3 ways to sell art. And more than anything else, that's what our business is. It's what we do. We believe that is the way that artists and photographers will be successful. That is the way that we believe that they can build a sustainable, I hate that word sustainable, what does it even mean? Build a robust business, okay, that's growing year in and year out. And they're cultivating an asset that can't be taken away when God forbid, whatever next pandemic comes down the road or whatever else, right? Like, last year was one of the most phenomenal awakenings of all time. And, if you had been in digital marketing for any period of time, you saw the writing on the wall a long time ago, which doesn't mean you saw like COVID coming, but okay, I got to own my own website. I have to own my own email list. I have to own my own social followers. If I do that, I can talk to them at any point in time. I have a business. No one can take that away from me. So you preach that all the time. And then you see COVID hit. And COVID was the most amazing thing in the history of mankind. Why? Everybody, first of all, good economic conditions. Okay, most people would say good economic conditions before we slammed into that thing. Then what happened? Everybody's at home. Everybody's at home, and they're sick and tired of their white walls, enough to the point where they're actually going to do something about it. And all the available locations where you could buy art were gone. All-time demand, lack of venues to sell. My arms are, gotta get used to the left-right thing. If like flipped, I don't have it. You get the point, right? So you go back to that report and you look at the sales volume, right? And they have it at whatever. And I mean, how I can't track this. Is this just Sotheby's and all the big houses? I don't know. But online sales overtook retail sales for the first time quite significantly. Okay. And I got to see it firsthand. The ones that had been following the pyramid were selling more art than they had ever sold in their entire lives. Why we went through the lockdown, right? Because they had the attention, they had the collector list, they were able to market. They started doing live art shows. So those are the types of things that we do. I know, like through the I get into my impassioned speech, and then I realize, like, you know, now you have all the questions. Okay, well, how do you teach this stuff, and how do you do everything else? And now I'm out of gas, and so I'm not exactly on my game to explain it, but essentially, yes, you get a website with us. Yes, it's amazing. Yes, it's incredible. Yes, it's not going to change your business. But really, what we are at the end of the day, by virtue of necessity, is we are a graduate school for artists and photographers to learn how to grow a sustainable business. That's what it is. It's a college. You sign up, get in, and there's no graduates because the learning never stops, because there's that much to learn, there's that much to do, there's that much to get up to speed on, as well as the digital marketing landscape moves so fast that, there's constantly changes. But we have a calendar that tells you what to do 365 days a year, and when to run sales, when to do regular marketing, what that looks like. And the calendar is as important on telling you what to do as it is telling you what you can ignore. We have Zoom sessions like this, which is just like class, 50 weeks a year that you can pop on. We teach whatever we're telling you to do in the calendar. We talk about whatever playbooks. We have our newest entrant, which is we have like what we essentially are calling the Art Business University. Where is it? Is it here? So there, which is, it's everything they didn't teach you in art school, right? We have like the best DIY education for selling art that exists on the internet, full stop. That's not hyperbole. There's not that many people trying to solve this problem. How to go live on Facebook, how the best price for prints on demand, tips from 100,000K artists, 100,000, 100K, 100K plus artists, monetizing your talent, chasing a passion, how to leverage Facebook traffic for art sales, how to target high net worth buyers, and on and on and on and on and on. We combine it with the in-person teaching. We combine it with the calendar. We combine it with a Facebook group where you go and get help anytime you want. And then we combine it with really, really strong support, meaning you can be having a problem with Facebook or Instagram or your email program, and you can come on to a Zoom session, talk to our techs 6 days a week, and get fixed. All of that collectively is essentially the Art Business University. That's the secret sauce. That's what we do. That's what every single solitary person on this call has the biggest problem with. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So that's what I got. And we didn't talk about the print on demand and a whole bunch of other stuff, but we'll get into the questions, and I can kind of show some of the features and show some websites. We can kind of go wherever we want. I like experimenting on these things and sort of seeing how it all goes. So I'll get rid of the screen share. If you are on this call and your video camera is on, I will see you do the old-fashioned hand raise because I'll see you. But Zoom also has this ability to do like a digital hand raise. And at the bottom, there's like a participants window thing or participants button, and you can click that. And that'll give you the ability to raise your hand digitally. And that kind of gives me like a little cue. Like I said, if you're leaving the question in the chat, we will get to the ones in the chat. So too with the socials. If you don't want to be on camera, you don't have to be on camera. I hate being on camera. I hate it. So I totally understand. You don't even have to talk if you don't want to. If I'm not getting enough questions, I reserve the right to needle you guys a little bit and to ask some questions myself. But we'll start with Janine. She raised her hand first, and then we can just go from there. So Janine, I'm going to unmute you first. You will need to hit your mic icon bottom left.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi.
So awesome to meet you.
Yeah, awesome to meet you too.
I've been listening to your podcast for a while now.
Oh, good. You're the one.
Yeah. So I requested a demo, and you guys aren't accepting clients from South Africa.
No, that's not true. Who said that?
It was in the email.
Yeah. So yeah, we need to update the email. And let me get to that in a second. But tell me about your business now. So are you selling primarily in South Africa, or are you trying to sell into the U.S. markets too?
I want to sell in the U.S. markets as well as South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's better if you can go international. Why not? So yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm still new. I'm actually a motion graphics artist, but I mean, I've been creating art for forever. So I just want to get that running. yeah.
Amazing. And have you heard of a certain motion graphic artist that's taken the entire world by storm with his NFTs
Yes,
recently? Yes.
people.
Yep. Yep. He's all motion graphics too.
Yeah.
Is that what you do, or you do After Effects, or you do the 3D stuff?
After Effects, I can do a little bit of 3D, but
Hmm.
yeah, that's the next thing. If you can, like, I've heard you say that you're gonna go a little bit into NFTs. I can't wait till you do, because yeah, that's a whole new.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't wait to get into. I mean, it's gonna be a long time, but till that fully hits. But what I'll do is I have your email because I saw you emailed me, and I will make sure that somebody follows up with you because we were in a situation pre-COVID where the office was based in Austin. We had much of our support staff there, and the issue is that when the time zones get crazy and we don't have the ability to support you in that time zone, like the crossover is so minimal that we didn't feel like it was a great experience. Well, fast forward to today, and we've got staff on I think every continent on the globe. Including multiple in Africa, although I think they're in Kenya primarily. But we can support you now, so we are taking on um, overseas customers and even in South Africa. So you can totally do it. So I will
That's
have somebody
awesome.
follow up with you, but we do not speak Afrikaans.
No problem. I
Yeah,
can speak English.
yeah. But with that name, you have to be able to speak Afrikaans, I imagine.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, yeah. I can hear the accent. What is that one? Just to go down the quick tangent. What is the one band where they're like they're totally like Trailer Park, but it's like the rapping guy, and then Yolandi.
um,
What are they
the
called?
Antwerp.
Yeah, the Antwoord. That guy totally makes me laugh. That music
Those
totally makes me
guys
laugh.
give us a bad name.
I know. I trust me. I know. Every culture has their those type. But the music just cracks me up.
Those
Um,
dark guys, yeah.
yeah.
We're not all like that, I promise.
No, no, absolutely not. Yeah, London immediately was like dying Antwoord. The Ansa. But I can hear your Afrikaans accent, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But I'll have somebody follow up with you for sure. And yeah, we can totally take you on. And it's interesting. Like I go back to this one, and let me just show you because I think this is like a profundity. And I'm not trying to blow smoke and say that like being an artist is easy in today's day and age. But there I lost my window. Where is it? There are some awesome aspects to this freaking business, and one of them is like the lines about the international aspect are like truly blurring. And so this guy's name's Matthew Locka, and I'll send you a link to the show after the fact. And you've heard me talk about him on the podcast a bunch. And he did two of these basement sales, and he sold basement sale 3. And then where's the other one? The other one's in here somewhere. This one, the birds. Maybe I was on the birds. I don't know. And anyway, my point was he sold 60 pieces. Okay. And the show, after it was done, he lives in Canada. He was shipping multiple pieces of art to Canada, multiple pieces into the United States. He shipped multiple pieces to South America. He shipped a couple of pieces to Asia and a couple of pieces to Europe. And it's truly an international business. It's truly an international business, right? Like you guys can sell anywhere, which is crazy. And in your case, you can market your art and sell it, on the African continent in South Africa to the best of your ability. And then when you get those overseas orders, you just route those orders to the print shop, right? We have another one, and again, I'm spending time on this because I think this further enforces the business model. But let me see if I have his site up. We have another guy, okay, and he started out his life in Austin. His name's William Stidham, and really talented artist, awesome artist, got a totally unique style that sells like incredibly well. And he lives in central Mexico in a place called San Miguel de Allende, and he's got an art gallery there. Okay, and it's a real touristy town. And here's what he does. It is just so fantastically interesting. And I should say had an art gallery because he closed it for COVID. I don't know if he's going to open it back up or not. But what he would do is American tourists would come down, right? And they would be in his gallery and they would be like, I totally love this piece, or Canadian tourists, I totally love this piece. Can I get it? Be like, no problem. Charge them right there. Go ahead and fly home. You don't have to worry about it. I'll ship it to you, right? and then our fulfillment houses would take care of it and ship the orders. If he got orders from people from South America or Central America, because again, huge touristy town, or Mexicans, then he would just print it up there in his shop and hand him the piece, right? So it's like there's so many different ways that you can do it, and you can truly have an international business. So I promise I'll have somebody follow up with you, and we'll get to the bottom of this thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Okay. So I see we have a bunch of questions in the chat. Let me see here. I'll take them one at a time. Okay, Joy says, I did 1 year of art school 25 years ago and sold some work then. Now, 25 years later, just starting to paint again. I'm not sure about the pricing of art. I see some similar pieces, and one sells for a few hundred and others for a few thousand. It's all about the experience in the name. Love that question. It's all about, at the end of the day, how much money you can get for a piece, right? That's it, right? Like how much you can get for a piece. There's one of the awesome things about art is the pricing is utterly, totally, and completely arbitrary. You set it however you want to set it. It's not based on anything else. You can't really comparison shop one artist to another artist. Like, yeah, size to size a little bit. But other than that, it's totally open to interpretation. So ultimately, Joy, you pick a price, and early on, you don't know what you don't know. So you pick a price and you say, okay, I'm going to sell this thing for such and such. If it's sold right away, your price was too low. If it didn't sell at all, then maybe try lowering the price, right? Like you just figure it out that way. But I can give you other advice on, you know, markups and such when you're selling prints and the like, right? But yeah, that's what I would say. Ooh, good question from Patty. So we have, Patty's asking, I should pull this up. Hold on. So we have, what's the best way to scan, photograph your art to be able to sell it? So what you mean specifically is what is the best way to either take a photo or drum scan the work such that you can reproduce it and sell prints. We've got a guy that used to do it for Sotheby's. He wrote an in-depth article on how to do it. You don't need drum scan it anymore. You can absolutely just get it photographed. We have a really good DIY article that'll get you started on it. And we're going to send it to you. So that's it. And it's really easy. How many pieces do you have, Patty? Just out of curiosity, I'm going to unmute you.
I don't know. I'm very small. I'm just starting out. I probably have like 25 pieces, something like that. So.
Yeah. It's super easy, and better than like trying to find somewhere that has a drum scanner and trucking it all over there. You just have somebody come to your house, and they'll set up the lighting in the garage, and you'll just do them all in one day, knock it out. So you can even just put an ad on Craigslist and say like, what town are you in? If you don't mind telling me, is it decentish?
I'm in Eva Beach, Hawaii. So.
Okay, might be a little bit higher in Eva Beach, Hawaii. What is that on? Is that on Oahu?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, my family's from Kaneohe and Kailua.
Oh.
Yeah, spent every year of my life going there. Love Hawaii. So it might be a little bit harder, but I doubt it. Hawaii is such like a massive art community, and you're on Oahu. It's not like you're on one of the smaller ones. So you could probably find somebody on Craigslist. But I'll send you this article. April will even put it in the chat in a minute, and you can read that as sort of like a primer to get started. But yeah, it's just an SLR camera, done, right? Like and someone that knows how to light it. But what I would do, and I say this all the time, is that I would post onto Craigslist and I would say photographer needed. The minute you do photographer needed on Craigslist, do you have any idea the sheer amount of responses you are going to get? Whoop, whoop, goes crazy. So you can say photographer needed, must have experience in shooting art for fine art reproduction, 25 pieces in my garage, need you to show up, set it up, light it, and give me the high res files such that they'll be ready for duplication. Would really prefer someone that has experience doing this. And then post that on Craigslist and do not respond until you've gotten like 25 emails. And then I'm looking for an email from somebody that says, hey, Patty, I've done this for the last 5 years. Here are the artists that I've worked with. You can contact them, versus someone else that says, yeah, I've got the lights. I'll take the pictures for you. Right. So let's see what the responses are and get someone that's good. And, they'll probably get you for like $20 to $25 a piece, knock it all out in a day, and you're done.
Okay.
Done. And then you're ready to go.
Yeah. Later on, I asked in the chat, how do I get my work? Because somebody responded, we have a service that does that. So I was saying, how do I get my art there? But I guess I don't need to know
no,
that.
You're definitely not doing that. And I mean, to be honest with you, like pre-COVID at least, more art is sold in Hawaii vacation status. I mean, you have some specialists on that island. That's not gonna be a big deal for you at all. Okay. Is that it? Do you have any others? I got you.
I'm trying to convince the husband that we need to do this, and so I guess I need to do a demo, but it's like more than me going on every day onto my Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm trying to take notes, and I'm not sure exactly how to sell it to him, but
yeah,
anyway.
I think, like, you have a great opportunity to be able to do it, but you need the perspective, right? Like, if you just got it started and you have a small Instagram following and you haven't really done any marketing or captured emails and everything else, you have to have the perspective of how long it takes. Like, you're going to have to be at it for a couple of years until you build a healthy business there. But if you're willing to do that work, and you're willing to grind on it, then it's a no-brainer, because it's how art is sold, right? And you need the teaching the whole time, and even more than the teaching, you need the motivation, right? Like,
Yes.
what everyone else does is they get like, this is going to be my year, I'm going to start marketing, it's going to be awesome, and then they start marketing, and after 3 months they don't get the results that they want, and they quit, right? And then they don't market again for a year and a half, and it's like, who told you it was going to take 3 months? Who do you know that's built a robust business in 3 months? Like, that's not the way the world works. Like, you got to be grinding at this for a couple of years, but if you do so, the rewards are there. They're there in spades. But I understand the family decision in that capacity. I had a really, really funny one, actually. Let's see if I can pull it up, and then I'll get April to send it to you. But it makes me laugh every time I think about it. So it was a husband and a wife, okay? And I'm gonna pull it up because it's too funny to see visually. And the husband is like, she goes, okay, and she was on one of these things. She's like, okay, I've been through this whole thing. My husband is still not totally convinced. I'll have it in 2 seconds. Let me just pull it up. And my husband's not totally convinced. Could you tell him in a couple of words what it is, right? And it was like this bizarre, like, what was that old movie, Tool Time? They're not movies, a TV show.
Home Improvement.
Where Wilson was like above the fence, like just
Home Improvement.
Yeah, just a little bit. So that's what it is. Let's see if I can pull it up. Hold on, I think I got it. Okay, just because I have the capability of doing this and it'll be hilarious, just listen to this. Listen to this. I gotta get the volume up.
This is an odd question.
Go. I love odd questions.
And he's hearing this aspect of your business, storefronts, in little bits and pieces. And so he's not convinced, right? Because it's another thing. I've been an artist for a long time.
I appreciate his skepticism.
Yeah. So if you were to say 3 or 4 sentences on why this is different, or why this is, without going to your upper end marketing, with sort of learning and doing it on, on your webinars, etc. How would you promote this piece? Because he's missed that sales angle. So
how would I promote what we do? Yeah. Artists suck at marketing. We teach you how to market. That's it. I mean, that's it in a sentence. Here he comes. Here comes the husband. The interesting thing is that, that being my 1 or 2 sentence is, I don't care if I take the people that are customers that are knocking on the $1 million a year door, or that are in high 6 figures, which, obviously is not a lot of people, right? But the larger point is, even the ones that are in 6 figures, the ones that are knocking on the 6-figure door, the ones that are above 50,000, the ones that are not selling, 100% of them, the biggest lever towards growing their business is marketing. Every single solitary one of them needs more marketing help, right? Like the gallery gal that Kevin knows, and somebody was asking about it in chat, right? I'm growing impatient. Hold on. Like, I don't know the biggest lever long it takes. Marketing cares to whatever one. You don't have to. Yeah.
I will not appear physically, so
you don't have to.
But since my name was mentioned,
yes.
My ears would perk up, of course.
Yeah.
Because my concern is that this is not. Forgive me. This is not the first rodeo.
I have to just send it to you though. But I thought it was hilarious, and then he and I get in this conversation where he's like on the side of the screen. It makes me laugh every time I see it.
I love it. Yes, send it, because this is good, especially because my husband's traveling for business right now, and he's in Alaska, so I want to be able to send him something.
Oh man, the Hawaii to Alaska flight, not so close is that one. No.
Oh, he travels a lot further than that. So.
Got it. Okay, but yeah, we'll send it to you after the fact. But I thought it was hilarious, and she's since signed up, so she's a customer now, which is pretty classic. I just one of those super funny stories that happens on this. And trust me, I'm married too, so I understand the dynamic. You both got to be on board, right? Thomas, it's OBS. Thomas is asking how I'm doing my nifty little zip around, play around, move here, full screen, not full screen. I know it's sort of sickening. I'm kind of addicted to it now. I can't help get enough of it. I love this question. So this is now coming in on Facebook. How to keep art on Instagram from being plagiarized if a photo can be duplicated so easily? Shiva, that is not a problem. That's not happening. Do you know how hard it is to sell art and photography in the first place? Do you think someone's going onto your Instagram, downloading it, instantaneously printing it, and making a huge business out of it? Not happening. Not happening. Like, yes, every once in a while something will get stolen. If it really harms the business, you can go and sue them. Otherwise, do not waste a second contemplating that problem. Not even a second, because it is not your biggest problem. Okay. Jean's asking, people already buy art in galleries while being pushed, but they are online while looking at Photoshop pics of a painting. That's why you're selling blah, 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 or the how-to. Okay, Jean. All right. Okay. I'm not even going to respond to that. I think that question's nonsense. You know, are you trying to sell your art or not? If not, then, you know, do whatever you're doing, because obviously it's working. Joy's asking me, I'm just going to unmute you, Joy, because you're on here. Oh, you just have camera. You don't even have a mic, so I can't do it. But she's saying, I believe I suck at marketing. Did I miss how much it cost for your help? No, I'll get into the cost in a second. I can kind of talk about like the different plans and everything else. Is the Instagram important? Yeah, it is. It's 100% important, right? Like, you know, we're sort of having this discussion today, but you know, if you go back to the pyramid, it's just attention. And, you know, I don't necessarily like being on social media. I don't post on social media, but I'm contrarian enough to understand that they have the attention. Okay. If they have the attention and we need it, we have to go where the attention is and attempt to siphon off as much of it as we can for ourselves. And that's the ball game. And yes, Facebook has it. And yes, Instagram has it. Instagram is pretty much like one of the most important platforms that exist right now that you could possibly be marketing on, like critically important. So yes, they have it. But look, you know, if you've got some other platform that's really working, right? Like, you know, I'm certainly not anti show and Thayer circuit. We love the show and Thayer circuit. I think it's a fantastic way to capture leads, despite having to be on your feet for 8 hours a day. So, you know, if you have the ability to go to a bunch of those, fantastic, right? Like, you know, you use whatever you have at your disposal to get as much attention as you can. And that's sort of just what we teach, you know, all year long. So yeah, that's what I would say. It's a good question though. I feel like I missed another one in the chat. And Don, good to see you again. Don used to come from the library, and he would be in the public library, so he'd have to have his mask on, and I'd constantly make fun of him. I'd be like, Don, you do not need mask for a Zoom webinar. And he'd be like, get off my case. I'm in the library. I got to have it. So that makes me laugh, but it's good to see you again, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Oh, yeah, speaker view. Juan, you can just put that in the chat and let people know if it gets Mickey Mouse. Yeah, I try to use this like little button thing, and sometimes it makes the Zoom a little wonky, which I totally understand. But what about anyone else? Any other questions? It's so funny. Every session's totally different. Some I just get a ton. Oh, we can talk about pricing. You asked about pricing. So we're, you know, it sounds self-serving, but we realized a couple years ago as a business, Art Storefronts, that if we don't have successful customers, we're not going to have a business at all. So to answer your question, Joy, here's how we decided to tackle that. If we know that no one has a website problem, okay, at all, that a website is not going to make anyone successful, then you need to solve the problem. Solving the problem is the marketing problem. So how do we price? We're like any other company in the sense that we charge a monthly fee for the website, right? Like just like every other website company does. What we do differently, what we do that no one else does, is we essentially give you a graduate level education in digital marketing period, and how to sell art and photography that never stops. And we had to figure out how to pay for that. So creating the Art Business University and all the staff and all the resources and everything surrounds that is our way of solving for that. And so we essentially charge a one-time fee to get into the university. Once you pay it, you're in for life. Again, there's no graduates. The learning will never stop there. So it's a one-time fee on, I think, on our bottom plan is like $9.99 one-time fee to get into the university. You get access to all the stuff that you get access to in perpetuity, which is massive. And then You just pay monthly for the website software, and that's it. And the plans that go up, I'm not really completely well versed in all the plans, in all honesty. That's why we do the demo process. But it just has to do with how many bells and whistles, and then a lot of people end up getting like 3 and 4 and 5 year plans because you get a break on it. So that's how we handle the pricing and do that. Yeah. Trying to think what else. I don't know. Any other questions, guys? Team? Yes, London. Those prices are in U.S. dollars. Are you not US based, Lyndon? I'm gonna unmute you. You've been on a couple of these things. I think I see your name keep popping. Are you not based in the US, London?
No, I'm based in Canada.
You're based in Canada. Yeah. So Canada's a little bit of a sticky one in the sense that, they hit you with those like export duties or whatever, right? So we have a print partner in Canada. So what they normally do is that if you get a Canadian based order, then they'll handle all of it, so you don't have to deal with any nonsense. And then in terms of the U.S. orders, you can ship the orders out from the U.S. But we have a ton of Canadian customers.
Right. Yeah, it's significantly more expensive up here.
I know everything is with the way the Canadian dollar's at. It's not. What part of Canada are you in?
I'm in Vancouver, West Coast.
Yeah, I love Vancouver. God, the place is so beautiful.
Mm.
You hear that all the time. What's that island that I love there? Is it Granville Island?
Granville Island, yeah.
Oh, it's my jam. I go down there, get a beer, kind of sit on the wharf, walk around that little market, that indoor hawker market. I love that spot.
Yeah, Granville Island Market and Granville Island Brewery.
Oh, it's good living. It's good living. Good dim sum there too, though. Woo! Isn't it? I think it's like the largest population of like Cantonese people outside of Canton, right?
That'd be Richmond, yeah.
Yeah, that's just amazing. But yeah, but you've been on a couple of these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're finding it engaging enough to come back.
Yeah, I'm just struggling because at the beginning of this year I've spent all this time and money and effort into my own website,
Yep.
and then I found this like 2 weeks ago.
It's just
and
the worst.
So it's like it sounds really good, and all the features that the website has looks amazing, but
Yes.
after spending all this time and money on my own website, another $1,000 American to do this, it's like I'm in a struggle now. I'm in a situation I don't know what to do.
For sure. And not to mention, like, oh, by the way, you're gonna have to build another website. That's like telling somebody, by the way, you just moved. I'm sure that wasn't a stressful experience. Now move again. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on, you're killing me. It's the worst. But yeah, it's you don't have a website problem, Lyndon. You've got a marketing problem.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like all artists.
Yeah. Yes, like 100% of them, straight up. But you can also follow a lot of what we do and put a lot of it into practice and start doing some damage, and then move over after you've banked some sales, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been working at it for the last 4 months, and I feel like I know it's still fresh, but I feel like something's gonna happen here. I just feel it in my bones. I'm gonna get some sale, or someone's gonna notice it, or something's gonna happen.
I love it. Love the positivity. Start running some live art shows. Practice all 3 of the 3 ways to sell art.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah. Today. Run one today. Turn the camera on, show some of that digital art, and get it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to do that.
All right. Thanks, Lyndon. I got some other questions. I want to keep moving.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, it's going to go Eunice, and then I see some of the questions in the chat. I'll grab those too. So go ahead, Eunice. Yep, gotcha. It says you're unmuted, but your little like green mic icon is not working, Eunice. So what I would do, Eunice, is that at the bottom left-hand corner of your Zoom window, it looks like you're on a computer. There's like this little up arrow, and the up arrow, what that lets you do is select which microphone you're looking to use. And my guess is that you probably have the wrong one selected. That's normally what it is on Zoom. So you can take a look at that. In the meantime, I will I hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me good?
There we go. Nice, Eunice. I like it.
All right. Cool. So my question is, if I understood correctly, you guys provide like the marketing, the strategies and all that. I just want to know in order to be successful with, having a membership with you guys,
Mhm.
what kind of work am I looking at doing?
Yeah. Yeah. We get this question all the time. It's really like the human mind, all of us, myself included, want some sort of magical hour figure that we could just say like, okay, if I just give it this amount of time, then it'll all work out, right? And it's impossible to do that because everyone comes in with different levels of experience in marketing, different follower counts, different, natural advantages that they have, different niches, different media types, different markets that they're in. And so I would say you can't compare yours to anyone else's. What I can say is it's less about the hours that you can give me, and it's more about you giving me those hours 52 weeks a year. What no one ever does is do it consistently week in, week out. So what we end up having is, and I would say this to Eunice, is that there's an 80-20 on our business, and the 80-20 is 80% of our customers have full-time jobs. 20%, 20% are actual full-time artists. And so we have a whole lot of people that are putting in the hours that they can put in. So, let's say you have 3 hours to give a week, or 2 hours to give a week, or 5 hours to give a week. Commit, write the check mentally in your mind that you're going to give me those hours for 52 weeks of the first year. And then we're going to reevaluate. And what ends up happening in that period of time is, the emotional motivational gas tank, as it turns out, gets filled up with a couple sales, right? Or a couple of wins that you get along the way. And what normally happens is, the artist gets a win, the photographer gets a couple of wins, a couple of sales, and all of a sudden the 2 hours they were given a week goes to 4 hours, and then it goes to 5, and then it just goes to where it goes. But again, it's 100% less about the hours and 100% more about doing it consistently all year long. And I cannot understate that. The good news is that we'll make sure that they're extremely high ROI hours. What do I mean ROI? Return on investment, meaning, stated another way, you will not be chasing shiny objects that are not going to do anything for your business, right? We're very good at pointing out, knowing what those are and pointing them out. So I think it's about that commitment. Eunice, if you can make that commitment, then it's less about the individual hours.
Okay, that helps a lot. Thank you. And I do have one more question.
Please.
This is more so on the production side. I finally found a company whose quality I love.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way that I can get samples of the printing companies that is used with your company?
Absolutely. Perfect example, though, of something you don't even need to waste 2 seconds of your time with. Can I give you a link that you can put in order right now and get samples and look at all of them? Yes, I can. Huge waste of your time. So printing, sadly, has become a commodity, meaning everyone's using the same monitors. Everyone's using the same color calibration on the same monitors. Everyone's using the same printers. Everyone's using the same ink. Everyone's using the exact same media types. And the only difference that you get from one printer to another is primarily service-based, service with a smile. The two printers that we use, which is Bay Photo on the West Coast, Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast, are huge companies, $30 to $40 million plus a year in revenue. They have all of the best machines, all of the best inks, all of the best processes. And so the quality will be significantly better or exactly the same, depending on who your printer is. The difference that you get, though, with us, which is awesome, is because they are doing such a robust sales volume, they get way better rates at UPS and FedEx, way better than you could get from your local printer, unless your local printer is one of those guys, those huge guys. So the answer is yes. I could give you a link and you can order samples, but it's a complete waste of your time. We have zero issues with quality from just about any of our people. Aside from, we have one guy that loves some German print house, but I think that's mostly marketing. But the quality is there 100%, I promise you.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. I just want to make sure that I can calibrate my screen as a photographer, my screen with, the printers and all that. I did have one more question and
Yes.
then I'm done.
No worries. Go. Go.
Oh, Jesus, of course it escaped. Signatures.
Yes.
How do you guys go about, especially with reprints,
Yeah.
having an artist have a signature?
Yep. So a couple of different ways to skin this cat, so to speak. One, you can put them in digitally and do it that way, right? Two, you can not sign them. Or three, the way that I like is for regular prints, depending if you have a beautiful signature, then you can put them in digitally, right? And it comes out on the print itself. Or if this is ultimately the way that I recommend, or you can not put them on the regular prints, and then charge a higher price for the ones that you are going to hand sign. Okay. And then what happens is that you'd put the order in, the order comes to you. Okay. You undo their beautiful packaging so gently. You pull the print out, you sign it, you seal it back up, you put it in, rebox it up, new label, and then it goes to the customer. That's the way that I'd like that most people do it, but there's no wrong or right answer to that question. It's really what you do, what's best for you. What I love to do though is charge extra money for the hand signed ones, maybe always on the limited editions because those are really expensive, or do it digitally, or don't put a signature on there at all. Like I've seen every variety work, but I think, the awesome thing about art and photography, especially when it gets shipped, is there's not like this Amazon expectation. And what do I mean by that? I mean, they're not expecting you to ship it to their door for free, right? They know it's a specialized one-off piece. Like we don't get a lot of people that tell me their customers complain about shipping. So point is, if you tell them they're going to have to pay such and such for shipping because you're going to have to ship it to yourself, sign it, and then send it to them, they'll usually be okay with it. But that's usually what I recommend.
Gotcha. Have you found that digital signatures take away from the value? Do customers mind? Does it
No,
even
not really.
matter?
I mean, when you're talking about value, like, do you mean perceived value, or do you think like the work gets? No. To answer your question, no. I mean, it's a print ultimately at the end of the day, right? And so, there's a certain level of expectations around the prints. Now, when you step that up to limited editions, it gets a little bit more hoity-toity, and whether that's just in our mind, like, wait a minute, it's the exact same print. It just came off the printer over there, but it's a limited edition. But those ones, there's like the expectation that a signature would come with it. It would be real. But yeah, it's not a stumbling block early on, Eunice. That's another thing. Do not stress about it in the slightest. Pick one way, market your business for a year, and then we'll reevaluate. If you get 10 complaints that your digital signature is in there, then we got a problem. Otherwise, we don't have a problem.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, so there was a good one up here. Yep, and I see the one about 3D artists. I'll get into that in a second. All right, so Michelle. I think we talked about this, Michelle, didn't we? I'm going to see if she's still on here. So I remember the name Margulis. I feel like this is like a march through movies. There's that movie, The Mexican, with Arnold Margulis, I think. Arnold Margulis? I can't remember. But are you there, Michelle? I unmuted you. So what's the pricing question specifically? You're just talking about markups?
Yeah, I'm just talking. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I've got you.
Yeah, I'm just talking about how you help us to price an artwork. When I look at something I've done and it has a lot of detail, I think about a higher price, but I don't know if that's justified. I'm thinking about, say I have a 10 by 10 and there's not a lot of detail. I would be thinking about a lower price, but a 10 by 10 with more detail, I'm thinking about a higher price. I'm talking about.
Okay. Yep. I got you now. So we're talking specifically. We're talking specifically about originals, right?
Yes, I don't know how that would follow with prints, but yes, originals.
Yeah, and we can talk about them as two separate things. So the beautiful thing about being in business, essentially being an entrepreneur, which an artist is you're always going to get these types of questions in your business, and an amazing framework for how to think about them is asking yourself, is the decision reversible or not? Meaning, you, Michelle, are going to have the detailed piece and you're going to charge $5,000 for it. If you decide to pick that $5,000 price, is that a reversible decision or not? Well, if it sells, no. But if it doesn't sell, yes, it is, because you can drop it right back to $2,500 2 weeks later. And guess what? No one will know that you did it. No one will know. It does not matter. So if it's a reversible decision, just say, is this a reversible decision? If the answer is yes, decide immediately and stop stressing about it and just do it, right? Like, you can price your work, you can lower it, you can raise it at any point in time you want. If the work is moving and moving consistently and you can't keep up, those decisions of raising the price is extremely easy. If the work is not moving at all, you have different problems. Either no marketing, no attention, see my earlier points, or B, the work's not good enough to command that price. The price has got to come down, right? So it's one of these things that I see time and time again that, like, you get hung up on the pricing and you're like, I don't know how to price the work. Until I can figure out how to price the work, I can't do any of my marketing. And what happens? The days turn into weeks, turn into months. Still contemplating those price increases? And no, price the work, get marketing, figure it out. If it sells, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to be like, shoot, I priced that one too low. And then guess what you're going to do the next time? Not make that mistake again, right? So just don't stress and don't overthink it. And then in terms of the prints, and in terms of selling art in general, I love the sales framework, meaning I believe more art moves in a sales context than just about any other way. The only two companies that I'm aware of that don't run sales are Louis Vuitton, okay, and Tiffany's. That's it. Those are the only two brands I know of that don't make sales. Somebody told me Hermes too. I don't even know what those things are. I probably couldn't even afford one. It's a scarf or something. So every other brand discounts, okay? Every other brand discounts. Another dirty little secret, when you're selling art at high price points, do you know how much the high net worth buyers negotiate on those pieces? It would boggle your mind, okay? So in terms of pricing, I bring all that up to say, in terms of pricing, we recommend on prints, for instance, a 250% markup, right? Sounds like a lot, 250%. Whoa. So whatever the print costs, 250%, you're marking that up? Yeah. Why? So then you have a sale and you drop 20 or 30% off of it, you still have a great margin there, right? So too with the originals, right? Like, you price the originals at $10,000, you're getting a little interest on that thing. You don't want $10,000 for that thing. You take $7,500 all day. Well, guess what? You got a little room to work with there, don't you? Right? Like, okay, well, I do want to get rid of this thing. If I came down the price a little bit, would you take it today? Yes, I would take it today, Michelle. Boom, there you are, right? So that's sort of how to think about it. But stop overthinking it.
Yeah, it's some of this is new information to me because I read in multiple places that if you have a sale or if you negotiate and give someone a discount, that you are cutting the value of your work, and other people
Those
might
people
be
are not selling.
upset.
Those people are not selling any art at all. Do you know who those people are? They own galleries. And do you know what they want? They want the artist going, this is so hard, I'm just not going to sell it. I'm going to take my art to the gallery. Those people are, I can't stand that advice. That advice infuriates me because whoever came up with that concept originally has their head so in my experience, okay, and I tell this same story every single solitary time. That same guy I showed you earlier, the artist name's Matthew Locke, and he had, let me just get my thing here so I can show it.
I came in on the middle today, so I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll send you a replay. But this guy's a really, really extremely talented artist. Like he's at the top of his game. Or where I can't find him. Where the heck was he? Should probably just go to his website. So he had a huge show, and actually, you know what? I think I can do this. Ivona, if you're on this, will you go into his website? You're gonna have to go into the back end of it, and you'll find this one link to the show. It's like, what can I do without you, or can I be with? I can't remember what the name of the thing is. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, fine. Here's a big one. So he had this show. Okay, he had this show in a gallery in Toronto, and it, hoity-toity gallery, the whole thing, right? And there were like 30 pieces in the show or 25 pieces in the show, and they were all priced based on the size that they were. And this was like, the width, I think. And there was one piece for the show. I might as well, I can talk this out while I'm navigating. The one piece for the show was the one that was like used in all the marketing and everything else, right? And I'm like, Matthew, we have to raise the price on this thing because this is the one that you're using for the show. It's going to be like the biggest one that everyone's talking about. We've got to raise the price. I can't find it. I don't think there's a regular blog post on it. Whatever. I'm just gonna leave it there. So what ends up happening is I get in this fight, not a fight, but we get in this tense negotiation. Finally, the gallery owner's like, okay, I'm going to raise the price on this thing. We'll raise the price. And I can't remember what the exact price was. I think it was normally going to be priced 25, and I told him to raise it to 35. So the gallery owner agrees. We raise the price to 35. The show goes down. It does not sell at the show itself. What it ends up happening though is one of the collectors, the so-called ladies that ran the gallery, has like her collectors, and the collector's like, I really like this piece, but there's no way I'm taking it 35. I'll take it at 25, right? And so the thing sold. And so we raised the price $10,000, okay, and then came down all the way to 25, which was the original asking price. The point is that the higher the price the art is, the more negotiation takes place. The more there's a sale, it's just not as publicized. So the discounting part is just completely endemic to every single solitary art sale, even more so the high end it is. So that's what I would say. And I don't believe in like, name me another brand aside from Louis Vuitton or Tiffany's that doesn't have a sale. And are you putting yourself in that camp? Are you Louis Vuitton or Tiffany's? I'm not Louis Vuitton or Tiffany's. No, not yet. So you can have sales. The whole rest of the world does. Okay. Sales offer two things. They offer scarcity, i.e. the sale is going away, and they offer incentive, which is the discount. We need those two things to get human beings to take action, right? Without them, you're not selling any art, but guess what? You're not cheapening yourself. I hate people that, I don't hate is a strong word. I despise people that say stuff like that, okay? Because they've never sold anything.
Patrick.
Yeah. I get so fired up on that.
I see.
Just like, guy, who's giving that nonsense advice? You're not selling anything. It's like, do you want it? It's like, it's like, you know what it is? It's like, it's in the context of, and look, everyone's entitled to live their life the way they want. I'm not judging or anything else. But like the musician who's like, I'll never sell out, right? I'll never sell out. I'm not going to get that record deal. I'm not going to like play these shows or do anything. It's like, okay, I totally respect you doing that. But don't, on the other hand, tell me you want to make a fantastic living from your music. What is the goal? Like, do you want to make a living as a musician? Well, inevitably in every job, there's some crap. In this case, you're going to have to sell out a little bit. I don't know. Fired up today for a Wednesday. Okay, then I see that. I gotta get that page though for future things. What else? Dawn, awesome. 1,500 per hour, awesome. Oh, okay, I think. Oh, there's the 3D art. Yeah, so the 3D art, it doesn't matter. There's no difference between 3D art and sculpture and wall art or any of the rest, right? Like, you're all artists. You're all trying to sell your art. You all have, your biggest problem is the marketing problem, which is the one that we solve. The website is totally secondarily. So yes, is our website completely set up to sell wall art? It is. That's what all the bells and whistles are. But at the same time, it's an e-commerce shop like any other. You can sell anything you want in there, just like any other e-commerce shop, right? There's like people that sell a ton of digital courses, right? Like, that's not wall art. There's people that sell sculpture. So yeah, it's your problem is marketing. It's not anything else. So you can totally do that. What else was I going to ask? No, I think that's it. So if you want more information, you want to follow up, like, look, if you're just discovering us, this is the first session, you're just getting to know us, that we don't do the high pressure thing, so don't worry about it at all. But if you are interested in getting to the nitty gritty of the pricing and all the stuff that I don't know, we do the demo process. And the way that the demo process works is you fill out our little form. Someone from the outreach team calls you. They ask you a few questions about your business. You can ask whatever questions you want about our business and the pricing and the tiers and everything else. And then if you like what you hear, you can get the full demo, which goes like an hour, because to show all the bells and whistles that we have, which is just a crazy amount. So if you're on the fence or you're like, you know what, I think I do want to learn more, we have a spring special going on, which I think is good till the end of the month, which is, I don't know if it's 6 months off or something. Do we know what the deal is, April? I think they're running a pretty big one. Anyway, we'll email you. But it's a great time to get signed up, and I start banging the drum about the fourth quarter in very, very short order, right? Like, an entire art business in a year is essentially this: time to have a sale, regular marketing. Time to have a sale, regular marketing. Time to have a sale, regular marketing. And that's it. And it never changes. Year in, year out, it just goes on and on and on like that. And don't get hung up on the baggage of a sale. It can be a bunch of things, but just focus with me for a second. More art is sold in the fourth quarter every single solitary year for most people than the other 3 quarters combined. So essentially, it's the squirrel getting ready for winter, right? How many acorns can you stack? What are the acorns? Email addresses, social media followers, collector list, right? Sales, yes. Getting better at running sales. You do all that all year long just for the fourth quarter, just to be in a position where you can sell well in the fourth quarter. And you do that, and you are going to be in a fantastic position. So I start banging that drum now. Yes, I realize that we're in, what are we in, April? What are you talking about? Like the fourth quarter? Yeah, but there's a lot to do between now and then, right? Like, if you don't have any attention and you're like, I'm going to sign up 2 weeks before Q4, we're not going to be able to help you. So that's what I would say. So the links are all there. We'll email you all that stuff after the fact. We'll email you the replay for those that missed the video. If you want to go back, see some of the other stuff. Awesome. And I'm trying to think if I forgot anything else. Oh yeah, well, I want you guys to read that report. I think that report is awesome. And I also think this is, like, despite the fact you have to buy it from his website, $12 deal, it's helpful to hear this from somebody that's not me, right? Instead, hear it from the #1 selling artist in the United States. It's all the same concepts. His are a little bit better than mine. So I would totally read that book. I think it's a good one. Yeah. And Shiva's asking, how can we get a replay? It's pretty simple. The minute they're done, Shiva, they live on Facebook. This particular one will, so you can just find that. And you're welcome for doing this. And Eric, I don't know what that means, but fantastic. Good day to you, sir. All right. I think we'll leave it there. Guys, that was a lot of fun. April, don't let me forget about Janine. We'll get somebody to contact her back. Trying to think if there's anything else. Is that it? Any parting questions? Dawn, appreciate the education. I'm sure I'll see you one of these days when I get up to Mammoth. It's good times up there. Michelle is going to immediately price her artwork and start marketing. I like it. Patty's going to show that clip to her husband. They're going to get a good laugh when he gets back from Alaska. How many time zones is that, by the way? God, that's got to be a lot of time. I guess no, it's not. I got to look at the globe. Still far flight. But other than that, guys, thanks. We run 3 of these a week. So if you ever want to come back, ask some follow-up questions, you can certainly do so. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll be emailing you. Not like we don't email enough, do we? We email all the time. It's sort of embarrassing. Don't worry. If you unsubscribe, I understand. Our email pace is just ridiculous, but it works for us. But thank you, guys. Been a great day, great session, and hope to see you